Hello everyone, welcome to the Uncensored match build-up show / match preview, whichever video this is supposed to be. Either way, we're going to be talking Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool in the Premier League. Third versus first, that's right. Still yes. Right, yeah, cool. There's no Premier League games. I haven't looked at the league table in about a week, which is weird. But anyway, we're here to discuss it. I've got Steve Plunkett with me, I've got Chloe Bloxham, and I've got Dan Clubb to go through everything ahead of that game against Nottingham Forest. Started the last show going to Steve, so I'll start this show going to Dan. It is a massive game of football.
Huge. Yeah, absolutely huge. Yes, maybe surprisingly so. It's a chance, really, for both teams, I guess, in a lot of roundabout ways. I think we're all acutely aware Liverpool's sort of title credentials now, and the fact that we are very much in the throes and at the forefront of the title charge race, however you want to describe it. Probably title favourites to a lot of people. I'm not quite on board with us running away with anything just yet, but still. But for Forest, at their ground, given the position they found themselves in, the way they played, and their form has been absolutely through the roof. Like, this is a huge opportunity for them to show their proper title / European / Champions League credentials. So yeah, massive. It's a bit of a throwback in terms of sort of the magnitude of it, I guess, because these two obviously both rich historic football clubs with great history who will have come up against each other in similar league positions down the years, maybe not for a long time. So yeah, they will see this as an opportunity for them to take another big scalp at home and to prove to the rest of the league that this isn't just a over half season flash in the pan, if such a thing can exist. And they are the real deal, which I think we all are very much aware of now. But for us, like I saw the first result at Anfield and sort of took it in isolation and went, well, that can happen on a day. You know, they execute a game plan perfectly. Everything they do comes off. They score on the counter. We weren't quite at it, blah, 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 blah. But they've gone on to show everybody that they are where they are for a good reason.
Yeah, and they've been absolutely superb, and they know exactly who they are, Chloe, as a football side.
Yeah, they do. They've got a game plan. I mean, they can do everything is the problem. You've seen the counter-attacking side, the likes against us. It feels like they're very, very clinical. I mean, they have one Wolves they played, was it the other week? Wolves had about 4 glorious chances in that first half, couldn't put one of them away. Nottingham Forest go down the other end, and Gibbs White's just really that clinical. They've also got the Route 1 ball. We saw it against Everton, where that Chris Wood goal is absolutely sensational that he scores. You just bounce it off him. They've got quality players all over the pitch. They've got a decent manager. They're well drilled, and they will be extremely tough to come up against. And look, we can all sit here and say Liverpool are top of the league, first v third. If they do this, they win. They are 3 points behind Liverpool, and yet Liverpool have a game in hand, but that is the Merseyside derby. So I'm not ruling anything out, and I think it'll be an incredibly tough game. I think the likes of Arsenal should be sitting there and going, brilliant, we might have a chance here to capitalise on Liverpool slipping up. That is how much I am fearing Nottingham Forest right now.
Well, yeah, it's a tough week for us, isn't it? Obviously you've got Brentford at the weekend away from home as well. We know how good they are at home. You've got Nottingham Forest obviously away tomorrow. I mean, it's fair to say a bit of an up and down week and a half for us, going back to the Manchester United game where we obviously draw, we lose to Tottenham, get the win against Accrington Stanley. Is it time for Liverpool to show up and showcase exactly why they're top of the table?
Yeah, it is. And in a mad way, I think I'd rather be playing them at their place than ours, because I don't think they'll be particularly low block. Because I don't think they play that way at home. They're about getting the ball out wide, quick, getting Hudson-Odoi and Elanga running at people. And you can't play this is not doing him a discredit. Chris Wood is very effective. He's not massively mobile as a centre-forward goes. No point in having him 40 yards from goal, playing a low block or trying to get him involved in quick transition and break. So I don't think they'll be as low block as some people are expecting them to be. And I think we seem to, well, the Tottenham game is an example of how well we play when we're away from home, and West Ham as well. So I think that will probably benefit us. They're 2 really tough games. Okay, Plymouth will attest to you can beat Brentford at their place, but they have players rested. I don't think Mbeumo played, did he? So there'll be threats from both of those teams, and these 2 away games could be a real springboard for hoping to sort of gained some significant space between us and the chasing pack. If we win these 2 away from home, and then we get a favourable result in the derby, we're back to being absolutely in control. And your point's exactly right, Chloe. If we were to lose to Nottingham Forest, and lots of people do, 3 points in front with a game in hand, you want the points on the board, not the game in hand, because that's not a great game in hand to be having. And Moyes will get a response out of Everton for the next couple of weeks. And we'll be part of that. So I think we've got to go there, and we've got to show, and I hope they're doing this in all the preparation, is that we've got to show why we're top of the league. We've got to show why many people, as Dan said, have us down as title favourites. These are the games where you go and win a league title.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Dan, a little bit of housekeeping before I ask you the next question. Obviously, Gomez, according to Slot, was quite far away. He's definitely not training with the team yet. We know Darwin Núñez is suspended for this one as well, isn't he? What is the sort of side that you're thinking that Liverpool will put out after the Atkinson Stanley game?
Yeah, the Atkinson Stanley game afforded us the opportunity, didn't it, to rest some big hitters and to kind of deal with the squad management side of things, however sort of fit to most benefit us heading into what is, as you've both alluded to there, a properly testing doubleheader. 2 away games and 2 of the toughest places to go in the league in terms of the style of play they both offer. They're both unapologetically who they are as football teams as well. So it's going to be tough. Again, almost as tough as it gets in the Premier League, I think, stylistically. So yeah, I think, again, the weekend has afforded us ample opportunity to get ample rest into the players that required it, and likewise minutes into ones that needed them. So you've just got to go full strength both times, whatever people think that look like right now in terms of form, in terms of fitness. I don't think you can even, the prospect of rotation doesn't enter your mind, because this is, this is Arsenal away, this is Man City away in terms of title race right now, because that's where Forest have found themselves, as Chloe said. Like, if they win and upset the apple cart a little bit, some people may see it, like they are right in the mix on our coattails at that point. So yeah, you can't even sort of consonance the fact that you could change things. You go, obviously, your keeper, you go your solid back four. Trent plays again for me, there's no doubt about that. Robertson was back in at left back. Canate wasn't involved at all at the weekend, so maybe that was just him having a day off completely, when there was some talk about him maybe being involved there. You need your most physically dominant defenders as well to handle someone like Chris Wood, don't you? Because as Steve said, he's not someone who's going to particularly threaten you in behind, but what he is going to do, he's going to make sure you're in a proper afternoon or evening's work, as this will be, because he's not going to give you a minute's peace. He's going to make life difficult for you. He's going to elbow you, kick you. You're going to know you're in a battle with Chris Wood by the end of it. So I think Ibu and Virgil will be absolutely essential to deal with the threats that he poses. So yeah, Liverpool cannot afford to take a backward step in this game, and that comes from the start in your team selection to what happens for the rest of the 90 odd.
Chloe, what moving on from that, obviously, what do Liverpool have to do differently this time against Nottingham Forest?
Well, it depends, because once again, I think Steve mentioned it there, they're at home. Liverpool ran out of ideas. We were coming off an international break where I think Arne Slot learned the demands of the Premier League, because we had the South Americans and he went, it's all right, lads, you can play them all. And every single one of us went, what's he doing? That's not going to turn out well. He learned it would not turn out that well. We were tired, we looked ragged, we ran out of ideas. We couldn't threaten, get between the lines. We offered absolutely nothing on the day, and it was just one of those performances. They had one moment of quality on the counter-attack, and they took it. They turned, I think it was Conor Bradley inside out, and it's a great finish.
Close him down, does he?
Yeah, and it's a great finish. So Liverpool, first of all, hopefully we are in a better position, but their atmosphere is going to be incredible the first 15 minutes. What you need to do is you just need to take the sting out of the game. And we've mentioned it before. I mean, you saying it being away from home, that might help us, because a lot of the time away from home, the atmosphere is crap, because teams just, they get up for it, and then Liverpool have the ball for 30 minutes and they won't do a lot with it sometimes, but they'll just bore you to death, really, as an opposition fan. So maybe you kind of need that, get your foothold in the game, but we need to move it quicker. We need to create our own tempo, our own energy against them. You can't let them bully you. You've got to be physically strong. You've got to give it back to them. And, we all know, you can't you can't be late to things. You've got to be on those second balls because, like we've said, they are so dangerous. They've got so many good players, and they will have chances. You've just got to try and limit them. But most importantly, we need to create our own chances because that's what we didn't do against Forest at home.
Is there anything, Steve, that you'd be looking at and going, well, this is what Slot might have learned from the first game? And is there anything tactically that he might sort of try and change?
I think he second-guessed the fixture in the first game. And as you said, Chloe, bringing South Americans in when he didn't need to. There's a couple of key areas in the game that we need to be careful about. One of those contests will be McAllister versus Gibbs-White. Is massive. He's got to get hold of that and deal with that. Yeah. I don't think we can have a midfield that doesn't include Szoboszlai.
Yep.
Because Forest's strengths are not necessarily through the middle. Gibbs-White aside, they are quick out wide. They've got a couple of decent centre-backs who work hard and offer threats at set pieces. And they've got the lad up front who, as Dan said, both those lads will know they've been in a game with him. So this isn't a game where we spend 45 minutes understanding the threats of Nottingham Forest and then go in and have a chat at half-time and come out and right the wrongs, because we've done that so many times this season. This is where we go and we set out our story. You're absolutely spot on. I want to see Virgil van Dijk make 200 passes because that means we've got the ball, because that's what we do. We go down the left, we come back, we recycle it through the middle, we go down the right. We're patient, we wait for a mistake. That gives you control of the football match. Because this is... It's been 1989 was the last time Nottingham Forest had a team at the top end of the Premier League, and they came to Anfield and got stuffed 5-0 in arguably the best game ever. They now feel they're back. So their fans will be up for it. And every single club, every time we go away, when the season starts and you get your fixtures, they're all looking for Liverpool, they're all looking for Manchester United. The one thing is certain is that ground will be up for it. And we've got to go there and we've got to do what we do, which is nullify them and nullify their supporters. And then we do what we want to do. And we're the best in the world at the moment at doing that. We haven't seen it for 2 games for different reasons, but we are the best at that. And that's the reason why we potentially could end up being 9 points clear at the top of the Premier League if we win the game in hand. Go back to what we were doing really, really well, which is the control, which is the situational stuff that Slot lives and dies by in the build-up, ours and theirs. They have some very, very real threats. Callum Hudson-Odoi is having a real sort of rebirth playing down that side, and that's another key area. Charles Trent deals with that for me, really, really crucial, and that's the reason why I said you can't have a midfield without Szoboszlai.
Yeah, I agree.
Is it Anderson and Dominguez who play for them in the midfield?
Anderson,
they run everywhere. Yeah, Ryan Yates, they run absolutely everywhere. They leg people everywhere, and that's another thing. They've just been sharper, they've ran more, they've been winning battles more. They're not scared to go into those battles. They don't give teams a minute rest. They're tenacious, and even if they don't win the ball, they'll just give away fouls here and there. So we've got to expect that they're gonna come out at us at some stage, probably from the off, if they get caught up in the emotion, in the atmosphere. I mean, how many times this season have we turned around and said that's a Klopp performance, not a Slot performance at Anfield? Why? Because the atmosphere gives you that moment to just lose your head and go and breathe in the moment. So it's a big occasion for them as well. They have less pressure, obviously, because it's not expected from them, but they will want to do everything in their power to have a say on this title race if they don't believe they have a single chance. But there will be people, their fans, who have the littlest chance going, and rightfully so. That's what it's all about.
That's a good point, sorry, but because they are where they are and they never expected to be where they are, every single game from now on in is a bonus. That makes them really, really dangerous, because their whole thing would have been, right, let's improve on last season. So
we've done that already.
Not even a shade of going down, not even something that could be considered, because last season everybody at some point or another thought they'd get relegated. Now they're fighting for Champions League places. I don't like the term free hit, but it is a football. This is a free hit. They can go and express themselves and enjoy themselves because they're miles ahead of where anyone thought they were going to be, and the momentum they've got makes them really, really dangerous.
I don't know whether I should say this, but I will say this. The whole time you two of you were talking then, I was thinking, we're in exactly the same fucking boat. Why aren't we acting like it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Not expecting to be where we are.
not expecting to be where we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
But
like,
we've been here before.
I'm
I
not
think
sure
Yeah,
I agree.
but like-
I think the squad would have expected the
I
challenge.
think I'm not talking about the squad. I'm talking about the fucking fans.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
talking about the atmosphere.
But-
I've heard you say last week, Chloe, that you didn't think it felt like Liverpool were in a title race. And while you were thinking, then I was thinking, yeah, it should be fucking us as well, shouldn't it? Yeah, we should be fucking going pitchforks and everything into the ground every single week.
I take your point, yeah, but I guess it's where you've come from.
Yeah.
You know, we've come from, potentially being in a bit of a title race and then not fading away far too soon last season and competing generally, whereas Forest, like it's been decades, been generations since I had these sort of conversations, you know what I mean? So it's slightly
This is
different.
almost a Leicester moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like that, yeah.
And once again, it's not out of the realms of possibility for us. Like, it wasn't. Like, I didn't think we'd be here, but we have some brilliant footballers. Yeah, we had a new manager, but tactically, I don't think he's not put out all his thoughts on the pitch yet. He's trying to do it in a transitional way. And I just think with Liverpool, nothing's out the realm of possibility. For Nottingham Forest, it would have felt like that for them. Like, it was literally last season when Nunes scores a winner against them and like the owner comes out, slags the VAR off, the Premier League off, gets fined for it. Felt horrendous in that situation. Last year for Liverpool, yeah, it was sad. We were in a transitional period. We all knew Klopp was leaving. We were all a little bit worried with what was going to happen, but it was he's left us in a much better place than I've ever seen a manager leave Liverpool before. It was totally different at Forest. And yeah, I get you, we should be going into this and we should be going and ready to fight, but that's what we expect from us anyway. Where with Nottingham Forest a year ago, they were getting bullied quite a little bit. Now it's none of that. They are up there.
Dan's hit the nail on the head. It's where you come from, isn't it? Because Slot will be talking down all of this champions, potential champions talk. It took till Salah scores against United well into the new year and takes his shirt off for anyone in the ground to sing "We shall not be moved" or "We're going to win the league." So we've been here so many times, so many false dawns, where we thought we might do something and we didn't. That's why we don't do what Forest fans are doing at the moment, which is living in the euphoria of far exceeding
I wish we were,
expectations.
I wish we were. I think it's a sad place when you don't. I think it's a sad place when you think about what football fans say about, I think we're going to win the league. I don't want people to banter me and all this type of shit when we're clearly the fucking best team
I agree with you.
in the world.
I agree with you, but that's
and-
not in the stadium right now.
That's exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Why?
But
Exactly
point
why?
is-
Because you've said the words here, free hit. Seems like we've had a free hit at the title this season, to be honest,
Yeah, I
to
agree
me.
with that.
Who thought Manchester City would be as shite as they were this season?
And it should have been Arsenal picking up
And
the
it should have
pieces.
been Arsenal
Yeah, I
picking up the
agree.
pieces. So
You can offer a
interesting.
small counter argument, and only losing one game to this stage, you'd be challenging them no matter what Man City turned up.
yeah, but you're not on course for 90, are you?
No,
And that hasn't won many leagues recently, has
Yeah.
it?
no.
The Leicester one.
Don't get me wrong. It's nice that they are what they are, and it's nice that Arsenal have an ability to see out games. And if we get to the end of the season and we haven't really made a fist of this, there will be obvious questions, won't there? But I agree with you that the fans should push the team over the line by letting them know where they think we're at. I would agree with that.
What I would say is this is where, and if somebody made the point earlier on, so forgive me, this is where we can truly, and I feel like I've said this 2 or 3 times this season already, but this is statement territory.
Barometer of where we
Yeah,
are.
in
If
terms
we don't
of-
win this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
You are telling the entire
And maybe-
country that
We are the proper.
We are the
Maybe
Go on.
that is. Maybe this game is the time when the fans
Could
change.
well be.
It is.
Could
Maybe
well be.
that
Maybe it
is
is.
what it is. This
I
is
would-
what we're waiting for.
Possibly.
United was that.
I
Yeah.
think opportunity.
United was
Could have
fucking
been,
that.
and I think if we would have came out of the ground with a 2-1 win,
You'd be
maybe
a different conversation
different, yeah.
and a bit better performance as well.
Yeah.
But I think back-to-back this week is a huge opportunity for, not that you need that, because ultimately who gives a shit? As long as you actually end up with a fucking silver by the end of the season, it doesn't matter at what point we all started believing it's nice and we talk about it for years to come, United. But there is scope this week, I'll put it like that, to go to Forest and put in a proper performance, a bit of a statement and say, this is us. We've stifled the atmosphere, we've stifled a very good crest of a wave Nottingham Forest side, top of the form table. We've gone there and done a job on them. Fucking flex our muscles a little bit. Do the same at Brentford. Then all of a sudden, that buy-in, that belief amplified by 100, because I think everyone we're having the conversations inwardly about this is tricky, this is treacherous. Everyone, Arsenal in particular, will be looking at this week and going...
At the moment, just trying to get to be car.
Exactly, yeah, it is a bit dodgy. But the outside world will be looking at our fixture list, this double header, and going, fucking hell, I wouldn't want that. Forest and Brentford away in the same week. Yeah. We come through that unscathed. Different conversation next Monday.
Absolutely correct.
So, Trent Alexander-Arnold, you mentioned it, Steve. I'll move it over to Dan. You know, we saw Manchester United target the space behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. We saw it happen against Fulham, albeit we're down to 10 men for parts of that game. That, I imagine, is where Nottingham Forest will be looking to attack Liverpool.
I would have thought so. Yeah, I think most managers would look to exploit that space, wouldn't they?
How does Slot solve that issue again? And I say this because I think it was a solved issue for the first part of the season.
Well, you could suggest maybe that Szoboszlai's absence has been one of the leading contributing factors as to why it has become such an issue once again.
A lot of it, Canate's.
Yeah, along with Canate. A lot of it will be down to us having the lion's share possession and sort of dominating matters. So by the transitions, wherever Trent is at a position, aren't quite as magnified and aren't quite as problematic, I think. And if we are able to do that, that will solve a lot of that issue. And that'll be, I imagine, that front-footed sort of aggressive approach to it will be how Slot suggests we go about it, because just being the better team and not giving the ball away. Because I think that's been a big problem for us recently, sort of the turnover possession. We have been more lacklustre than we'd like with the ball. And if we are giving it away in dangerous areas where Trent's so far with the field, he's so far advanced, he's so out of position that teams can hurt us in that manner, that's a problem within itself. So I think he will be, let's just do plan A better and keep the ball better and make sure we're not caught out of position so much in transition, that's the best way of solving it. Because I'm not sure...
Let's also not go a goal behind.
It helps.
That does help.
I'm not quite as signed up to the fact that Forest will be over-adventurous in this game. I take your point, they might have a little bit more of a go because they're at home, the crowd will be fucking bang up for it, by the way, and they might be slightly more front-footed, but I think Nuno's blueprint and Nuno's go-to mantra and brand of football of soak up pressure. We've got a very industrious workman-like midfield with a bit of quality sprinkled in there, Morgan, Gibbs White, etc. But I don't think they'll shift too much stylistically from what we've seen at Anfield. Certainly not when it works so well. It was executed so brilliantly. I think it'll be quite similar despite them being at home.
Okay. I think some of the threats for us, the obvious one we've just discussed, that space, the switches on again for them against us, because what potentially might happen is if Trent gets into advanced positions to offer the creativity, which is what we will need on the day, because of Chloe's point before about we ran out of ideas, and there's a guy with a whole load of ideas. Yeah. Switches on, because if that happens, Canate comes across, Van Dijk comes across, Robertson comes across. In recent weeks, we've seen teams get a little bit of success by switching out to where Robertson should be, and he isn't because of the way we played. Elanga's a dangerous man to give the ball to out there, you know, in terms of current form. So this is why I say the McAllister versus Gibbs White thing is crucial. If they give him one job down there, which would be nullify him,
keep him quiet,
and let the rest of the team create the chances. He's there, the heartbeat of what they do. He's a very, very good footballer. Let's stop him, and you've got all the capability in the world of doing that. He's a yellow card nailed on, 100% a yellow card nailed on from McAllister, but. What we've got to be really, really careful is the switches on when we do what we think we might do to sort of negate the threat. I think the key to it is just to keep the ball, not give the ball. You're right. We give the ball away. We've gone back to doing that thing we did a couple of years ago where we'll have a goal kick. They'll show the chance, and when it comes back, the team have already got the ball again. So we need to stop doing that, and we need to be. This is why I mentioned about I want to see Virgil have 200 passes, because that means you're in control of the game of football. Yeah. You want to hope they get swept away in the euphoria of the events, because against Man United it happens. It's always happened. Both teams end up playing the stadium, not the game plan. Our game plan went to shit against Man United, and we just played the occasion, and as a result we didn't get what we wanted. You would hope that the crest of a wave at Nottingham Forest, as you made the point before, Dan, they get behind their team and their team think they're gung-ho and they're better than they need to be, and it's Liverpool and we will show you, and we're gonna make a good account of ourselves and prove that we are where we need to be. We need that to happen. So we can't encourage it, but we'd like to.
Okay.
But the switch is always on. That's my concern.
Okay. Chloe, what is your front three for this game?
Gakpo, Diaz, Salah.
Yeah, I like that. And midfield?
Midfield would be Dom, Ryan, Maka.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's it. And coupled with Dan's defence and goalkeeper. Any issues from what he said before?
No.
No.
That's
Score
good, isn't it?
I
predictions then.
I'll miss this one out.
Chloe
You
won't do this.
that.
Oh, grief. 2-1 Liverpool.
I'm with that. I'm on side with that. 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay.
And it won't be an enjoyable evening, by the way.
No, it's going to be brutal.
I'm going to hate my life
Gonna be brutal.
tomorrow night.
2-0 Liverpool. No goals conceded. Back to clean sheets and the glory of a big old gap at the top of the table, hopefully. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you all soon. Ta-ra.